another humility, which we see did not mean a lack of arrogance, but another meant it's about the cause, not about personal ambition. The second was compassion. Especially if it's about the cause, there's always the threat that the cause overcomes one's humanity. A leader must therefore be especially compassionate. Today I want to talk about probably the most important trait. It has many parts. We're not going to finish it all today. And that is responsibility. The leader of the Jewish people is the king. The king is supposed to come from the tribe of Yehuda. Why Yehuda? So he took responsibility. Yehuda himself, we find two situations in the Torah where he took responsibility, and they are responsibility in different forms, and they have to be dealt with independently of one another. First responsibility, when he confesses as to be the father of his daughter-in-law Tamar's child. That's taking responsibility. One of the most powerful and disturbing human traits is to pass the buck, but more than that, to blame. The very first thing Adam did after eating from the tree was to blame it on Chava. That's how basic it is to being a human being. It's always someone else's fault. If someone else doesn't have to be a human being, you can blame it on circumstances. And yes, circumstances do make it difficult to do what's right. But bottom line, it means not accepting responsibility for one's own actions. We're humans and therefore we make mistakes. A human being can make a mistake. He's allowed to make a mistake. Part of being human. He does not have the right to disown his mistakes. He does not have the right to put the blame on someone or something else. So that's the first level of responsibility. We have to talk about it more. The second form of responsibility was Yehuda taking responsibility for Yosef. For Binyamin. Yosef summons Binyamin. Yaakov doesn't want to send him. Yehuda takes responsibility. And he lives up to it. His address to Yosef, of course not knowing it was Yosef, where he pleads and is also tough. He pleads and threatens. That's how he actually fulfilled his responsibility. Taking responsibility here doesn't mean taking responsibility for your actions. It means assuming responsibility for something that's necessary. And yes, that's really what leadership is all about. It's assuming responsibility for what has to get done. And making sure that you carry that out at all costs. So these are the two sides of responsibility. Now let's start working on the first one. Taking responsibility for our actions. It's very easy to say, I'm sorry. Words are cheap. How is it there's so many people that say they're sorry over and over and over and over again? Means they never got it. If you say you're sorry, why do you keep doing it? You never took responsibility. You found a convenient way to avoid having to deal with it. I said I was sorry. I'm okay. No, it's not okay. You hurt someone. You hurt someone. Has to shake you up. You can't just say, I'm sorry and I'm fine. You've got to feel how wrong that is and make sure you never do this again. I'm sorry alone is not taking responsibility. Better than blaming, but it's still not responsibility. Responsibility means to assume responsibility for never doing this again. Needless to say, if there's any way of rectifying the situation, that has to be done. To say I'm sorry, but you're not willing to pay for it, is certainly worthless. Even if you are sorry, even if you feel bad, but you got paid for it.
If they don't want you to pay for it?
It's a whole other dynamic. Some people don't want to be paid for it because they want to be upset at you forever. You've got to convince them that you're really sorry. They should be willing to allow you to pay. Yeah.
Wasn't Judah just taking responsibility, saying that I'm the father? What was the father doing that? Other than
Well,
admitting it.
no, he saved her life. He saved her life. She was about to be burned at the stake. He saved her life. Yeah.
So Yehuda owned up for his own mistake where he was the one to blame. But what about in a situation, right, where someone else made a mistake? Should you just like pretend it's you who did it if like other people aren't?
That's going to be another trait.
Okay.
The answer is yes, but that's not this trait. That's not responsibility.
Has a question on last year?
Maybe let's try to focus on this, okay? Now, the first step is to realize your mistake. People are not naturally self-aware. We're very subjective. Yeah, our perspective is always jaded. Taking responsibility means you're ready to view it from an outsider's perspective. Everybody believes they're right. And everybody else is wrong. You have to take a step back. You can't take responsibility until you first understand what you did wrong. So self-awareness is a real tough one. How do you know if you're self-aware? Everyone thinks they are, but how do you know if you're really self-aware? You see, you got to figure out, when you find that people can never be straight with you, everyone's dancing around you, they're being diplomatic. It's not because they're so holy. It's obvious because they're afraid of you. They know they can't tell the truth. Of course, the natural way of dealing with that is they're wrong because they're not straight with me. You always run into these guys. People are dishonest with you. You gotta hit them on the head. Why do you think they're dishonest with you? Because they're afraid of the consequences if they tell you the truth. If you'd only make yourself approachable, people would be honest with you. This first aspect of responsibility, which is to be open to be wrong, to be open to taking the blame, to be open to the fact that even though from your subjective perspective, it's because of them, recognize that it's because of you.
If it really was them.
To find what we're dealing with, that'll be another trait. But don't be so quick to think it was them. It's probably you. Yeah.
People dancing around because they're afraid when they tell you the truth. You're gonna avoid responsibility, but what? What are they afraid of?
Your reaction. Your reaction, you're gonna deflect, you're gonna dump it on them, you're gonna make them feel either stupid, guilty. Maybe you've been spared meeting such people. But they're all over the place. You try to be helpful and point out to someone they made a mistake. And instead you get beaten. You're never gonna do that again. Yeah.
It's very hard to change that though, because when you set up the specific, this is how I react. It's very hard to change someone's perception of you if they have that.
It's very hard, but the first thing you gotta do is not change the perspective, not change their perspective of you. The first thing you gotta do is change. Realize, I've got a problem. I've got a problem. I'm not approachable. I've got a problem. It's not them, it's me.
And what about like more in the framework where like you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings or anyone should?
You have to broadcast approachability. You have to show appreciation to people that give you advice, including criticism. They're only trying to help. It's your responsibility to show that you welcome criticism. We need criticism. We don't see ourselves objectively. We need people around us to help bring to our attention what we're overlooking. They should feel appreciated. Then we'll keep doing it. Unless you'd rather not hear from them. I don't know, the stereotype bully of a leader. Can get things done, but that's not real leadership. It's really not Torah leadership. You know, when these mean bosses and the people that take pride in that, being bullies, being tough. Obviously, if you crumble, you're not a leader. The Torah picture of a leader is not one of these macho dictators. Who instills fear in everyone around him. We've never had leaders like that. Our leaders are just not like that. The Torah's idea of a leader is someone who is not beyond reproof, who welcomes criticism, who appreciates that being human, as great as you are, doesn't mean you're perfect, and that people, even if they're lesser than you, can have constructive input into your life and the way you do things. Because practically speaking, in leadership, you have to be firm. But there's a big difference between being firm and being a bully. Don't confuse the two. You can be giving, caring, but firm. No games. You can't let people just do what they feel like. That's not leadership.
Can you define firm?
You don't crumble.
What does that mean? That means you bend to their will?
You can't run anything when there are no rules. If everyone can create his own rules on the basis of how he's feeling that day, you're not going to accomplish anything. You're going to have to make rules. There's a difference between making of rules and a reign of terror.
So the firmness is not situated within a person. It's around like accepted upon rules or like these ideas that are agreed upon.
But you have to create rules to make things functional. You know, you create an organization, you've got to have rules. This is the way we do things.
Is crumbling not an internal reaction?
Crumbling means I'm afraid. I'm afraid to be. Afraid to be too strong. I'm afraid of the masses. We'll get into that. You can't be afraid.
Sometimes it's scary.
You got to stand up for what's right and do it in a way that makes sense. Be nice about it, but don't budge. I know you've never seen these bosses that are terrorists.
Yeah. Isn't the bully just a person who forces his rules quite strongly? Like what
It's just not. Nothing's negotiable. Nothing is negotiable.
Then what's the line between being firm
Being firm means that you prevent anarchy. There is preventing that anarchy and being unreasonable. You know, there's a whole class of businessmen that generally come from a different country than where they're doing business, so that they can conveniently hide behind not being able to understand the language and not budging. They just repeat what they say, and it doesn't make a difference what you're telling them. They just repeat what they say as if they don't understand what you're telling them. They make a lot of money, they have no friends. That's not Torah leadership. It's taking responsibility for your own shortcomings. It's being answerable to people. They have the right to demand answers. The boss has to be answerable to others. A leader has to be answerable to the people around him. Yeah. Okay, next time I'd like to talk about the other side of responsibility, which is what really the leadership is all about, taking responsibility. Not just responsibility for your shortcomings, responsibility for the needs of the world, the nation, your people. Okay.
Why?